Welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast. Yes, this morning we'll have joining us on the show Mr. Akin Fatunke. And of course, Mr. Fatunke is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, and of course, he is a public affairs analyst of repute, and usually here on Tuesdays. Good morning, and good to see you again.
Thank you very much, Toby Singh. Good morning, Nigerians. Something you missed out in my fellowship. I'm also a fellow of the Institute of the Masses.
Oh,
Future.
Oh my God.
Youths, women, physically challenged, people who are holding the future for Nigeria. Thanks for having me here.
It's a pleasure having you again. Let's go to the best news of the moment. Yesterday, Dangote Refinery was finally commissioned. I mean, for years, people have been looking forward to that project finally coming to fruition. And of course, a lot of people posted videos of when the former governor of Lagos State conceptualized the idea, went to China and did a lot of things. That's the incoming president. And then when Raji Fashola, the governor that took over after him, the current Minister of Works and Housing, also handed over Dangote, Aliko Dangote, the president of the Dangote Group, to the people, the kings and the people of that area, telling them, he's your son, he wants to do this, these are the opportunities, and we must support him. And, very funny that they were in a simple shirt and maybe chinos pants as usual. He was asking them, like, are you satisfied? Are you willing to do this or not? And some people were saying, the kings were saying yes, the people in front were saying yes, and some people were saying no. And he said to them, if you're not willing, then leave us alone. Leave those of us who are here who believe in this and believe in the potential that this could do for your community, for Lagos in the next couple of years. I tell you, the Dangote Refinery is one of the biggest projects that has ever hit the side of Africa, and not just Nigeria. It's the biggest in the whole continent and has the capacity to produce for Nigeria and still export about 40% to the rest of the world. Yesterday at the ceremony were, of course, eminent Nigerians, business moguls, including the Adeleke mogul. Like when I saw Davido's father, walking towards the venue, I said to myself, Nigeria does have a whole lot. I mean, at the level of the rich men in Nigeria, rich men do bandit together. But to bandit together, maybe then the poor people too, maybe they do bandit together, and it's more like a divide, the rich and the poor. There's that rich. The rich always do things together, and then the poor too may be doing the poor together. Of course, our correspondent Abiola Ismail was there at the commissioning live, and this is his report.
It was a roll call of dignitaries led by President Muhammadu Buhari, the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, the Senate President, Senator Ahmed Lawan, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, government functionaries, captains of industries, serving and former governors, royal fathers, among others, that registered their names to witness the official commissioning of the long-awaited Dangote Refinery. There is no doubt that the 650,000 barrel per day capacity Dangote Refinery is the industrial renaissance the nation urgently needed. With the unemployment rate hovering over 40%, high insecurity, the low purchasing power of Nigerians, and the nation facing other multidimensional challenges, the commissioning of Dangote refineries is a succor to a nation in their need of an industrial renaissance.
Praise other Nigerian entrepreneurs who have already embarked on similar projects, following Dangote's shining example, and call on others to also follow suit. I would also like to commend and congratulate the federal government. Africa is not all about the crisis in Sudan. Africa is not all about poverty, deprivation, and destitute. Africa is not all about insecurity. I hope the CNN, the BBCs, and the Sky News of this world will be around to give maximum coverage to this function.
These and many more came to the fore when the President Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, declared that by the end of July, the first product from the refinery will be out.
Once our plant is fully commissioned and it is on stream, we expect that at least 40% of the capacity will be available for export, and this will result in significant foreign exchange earning into the country. Overall, we are committed to operating our plant in line with international best practice. Recognizing the importance of protecting the environment, we have adopted stringent environmental health and safety policies to ensure that the refinery operates in a safe and sustainable manner.
The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu pointed out that Nigeria's President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu established Lekki Free Trade Zone where the refinery stands, and as a result, the state created a conducive environment for business to thrive. And as of today, Dangote Group has created investment worth over $30 billion in the state.
We're indeed truly proud that we have put Nigeria and indeed Africa on that world map in which you have done the very first that nobody, or well, history will want to come and meet it up. And we're proud of your belief in your country, your belief in the youth that you are given opportunity to. And we're proud of the fact that you are a Nigerian that is completely detribalized, and you have invited in many ways than possible. I want to thank you and thank you again.
The Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, said the refinery represents a trajectory for greater growth for the nation's economy. Emefiele disclosed that all effort to diversify the economy is working, as non-oil product exports will be boosted by the refinery.
Dangote Refinery is a blessing to Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Given the favorable spillovers from this project are able to expected to spread from Nigeria to other parts of the world. It is in this regard, Your Excellencies, and consistent with federal government drive to diversify the economy, that the Central Bank of Nigeria, through its various development finance intervention, has continued to support critical sectors of our economy to promote a homegrown rebalancing of our economy and foremost self-sufficiency.
In all, President Muhammadu Buhari applauded Dangote for his investment initiatives to grow the Nigeria's economy, as he expressed confidence that his successor will further enhance the economy with good economic policies.
Our government, therefore, took the decision to focus attention on creating an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive and fill the enormous gap in investments, not only in infrastructure, but also in all critical sectors. We recognize that without active participation of the private sector and a strong commitment to public-private partnership, our economy would continue to remain severely challenged and our economic growth impeded.
The 650,000 barrel per day Dangote refinery and petrochemical company located in Ibeju, Lekki, Lagos will enable Nigeria to achieve self-sufficiency in refined petroleum products as well as export to other African markets. It is expected to create a $21 billion market for Nigeria crude oil. Abiola Ismail, MITV News.
Welcome back. So yes, that was our report, Mr. Fatuge. Look at the size of the humongous size of that refinery. What were your thoughts yesterday when you were watching the ceremony happening live?
In your intro, you mentioned single largest in the African sub-region. I'd like to say that the fact of the catch is the fact that it's going to be the largest single integrated refinery in the world.
Wow.
as a petrochemical, fertilizer, and then the normal, the Aladdin and the lamp, so to speak, that is going to shake all other attempts at Nigeria's comatose oil and gas in the past 30, 40 years. One of the best things to happen to us, absolutely no doubt about that. We are going to begin to reap the benefits, not today, not tomorrow, not even at the end of July or early August, when the output of the refinery will now begin to percolate down to the market. All those intervening periods will prove the logistics blues and our capacity to manage change properly. I say this, Tony Singh, advisedly. I say this because we've had something, okay, a bit similar in the past.
Are you talking about the Port Harcourt refinery?
I'm not even talking about refinery now. Okay, well, the refineries that were run to the ground, but I'm even talking about the machine tool industry, I'm talking about the Ajaokuta State Plant. These were visionaries, and for whatever reason, we ran them to the ground. I am not thinking this should be. It will not be if we get our governance correct, if we do our logistics interplay right, if we harp on what BRF Fashola, within the baton that he picked from then Senator, then Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the envisioner, who took what Ogun State were dilly-dallying about, saw that vision, and created that free zone.
Trade zone.
And from day one, started community assurances, development, stakeholder mapping. Very, very, very important. The refineries that we are talking about, that we went on, how much of the community engagement did we try to coalesce and bring together? How did we begin to now take the prize and then start to look down on the community? Because while you are sleeping, it is the community that will stay awake to ensure through intelligence information that the assets is safe. So what do I feel? I feel proud. I feel very, very comfortable that despite it all, the visionary Aliko Dangote, when the whole world, okay, the most businessmen, most analysts had said that it was impossible. I said, I'm going to be that foolish man that will
make that impossible come to pass.
He envisioned it. One thing to learn from here is that impossible is not a word for anybody. What you feel might be impossible, there's always a way around it, and if you can shift your paradigm
a little bit.
God being on your side, it will help. Now, I must also say that if you don't get the governance right, I am somehow concerned at the relative hand of government that's come, which is good at the onset, but which should not be perpetuated. They should not have controlling influence to politicize this great idea so that it can live on to the next and next generation. What am I saying? I know NNPC, PLC have their hands in there. The terms should be well spelled out. Controlling interest and bringing square pegs to come and mount round holes should be avoided. So
Altogether.
governance, communication, community engagement,
Must continue.
and the contagious states in the southwest sub-region must show the light and make sure that the feeder logistics,
Okay.
be it road transportation, be it the free zone, seaports, safety, making sure that safety and security is, is sacrosanct there. The railway sidings hopefully will extend. The bigger Lagos mega dream will make its input. And let me finalize my openers by saying it is not for a coincidence that the Biden administration are sending a delegation for the inauguration of the president-elect, all things being equal, May 29, and in that entourage are trade experts, including the gentleman that is manning the African High Command. If you read in between the lines, part of what we should be looking at is the safety out there, in the sea sound, in the Gulf of Guinea, in the Gulf that surrounds Lagos, to ensure that at all points, a lot of the wahala, a lot of the shenanigans that we faced in the previous refineries that government had a control of will not happen in here. And that perpetuity is consolidated. Congratulations to Aliko Dangote.
Dangote. Before you were even
Mr.
done,
President,
without
congratulations to the
congratulations.
incoming president. Congratulations to whole Nigeria.
I want to look at how much this refinery products of 650,000 barrels per day from July, how effective or how much impact this would have on the Nigerian consumption, on the Nigerian system, in terms of fuel availability, in terms of, say, the people themselves, in terms of job creation. Refinery of that magnitude, as a person with a business mind, how many Nigerians do you think, apart from the projections of Dangote himself, how many Nigerians do you think will be employed in such a place?
It's going to be massive.
Okay.
Not only is it going to be massive, if we get the policy right about the linkage, backward linkage, community linkage, security, technical expertise, which ab initio, yes, Nigeria might be lacking, but there has to be a way to ensure that those technologies are understudied effectively and can be mounted and managed by Nigerians. I am confident that there are Nigerians who are virtually in all parts of the world. During my time in ExxonMobil, some of the best that we have in the world were Nigerians, lots of Nigerians. There are Nigerians who are making things happen in Angola as I speak. There are Nigerians who are, because there are Nigerians in Saudi Aramco. The idea being that this technical expertise will be naturally attracted back to enhance the employment that you mentioned. But
So-
let me quickly just say from the onset, this is not a Father Christmas thing. They talk about, now we are going to be having PMS,
Yes.
petrol motor spirit free. It's not true, cannot be true. Yes, we are going to have it by way of what I would like to describe as a relative competitive price, because by the time you take off the cost of logistics, of bringing in by ship, staying at the port,
To get it cleared.
lightering ships to go to the mother ships and all that, plus all the other things about pirates, about stealing, about all that kind of things. You take all those corruption out of it. Naturally, it will take that up because it's now nearer to the people. However, the main ingredient that goes in the crude, yes, the crude is going to be supplied by Nigeria. Yes, we could have it. We must also understand the fact that we have been bedeviled by crude theft, crude leakage, unrests and all that, drilling into the pipelines and stuff like that. We put all that together. They are going to be sold at international price to Dangote. It's not a gift to Dangote.
Dangote so crude is going to be sold at international price to Dangote?
At the plant, yes.
Dangote is going to refine it and sell back to marketers?
And add value.
Yes.
What will be out of the equation is all the corruption that is attached with logistics and what have you that is taken care of. So if all things become equal, ceteris paribus, like economists would say, we are likely to find a drop. And that drop can be quantum if efficiency comes in. I will call it appropriate pricing. Where appropriate pricing is going to be there, employment, export, GDP growth.
Apparently, Dangote himself is looking at exporting about 40%
a hub
for petrol.
A hub of development in that area, including technologies, looking at franking technology that the US is putting together. Don't forget that oil is becoming a wasting asset or diminishing asset.
Yes.
How will Dangote refinery begin to now shift focus out there? Part of the ratchet effect coming from this refinery, and it's always coming as a footnote, is that it's going to be able to generate electricity that could power some states. What are we talking about? If we put appropriate pricing in there, and we put the expertise of the private sector with the mindset of the commissioner, who himself has said, I want to help the African continent. I want to help my people, Nigeria.
After all, was labeled like a dreamer.
He wants to help. He can only help if we decide that we are going to help ourselves.
And help him as well.
And hand in hand, we must be the security. We must have the patience. We must take the sacrifice that this is not going to be, a bed of roses. And like telecoms, prices will still be high at a particular point in time, and with relative competition that is justly in, and government effectively having their hands out of control, prices will now be in such a way that it's going to be equitable, fair, just, and appropriate.
Another topic will come to mind here, another subject matter, still talking about this Dangote refinery. It's the fact that petrol subsidy is going to be removed in the next 1 month. And coincidentally, Dangote said his products will be available for sale in July. Nigerians would be expecting that with his product coming and petrol subsidy being removed, they're going to be able to buy fuel, say, at a very reasonable price. I'd like you to do some kind of projection. Can you do that and just give us a figure? We currently buy fuel between 185 naira, 90 kobo, or 99 kobo, as it were, depending on the filling station, to about 200 naira in some private stations. And even if you step outside of Lagos, you're buying up about 250, 280. And I'm talking about people who sell on the road. You're looking at filling stations that are located in the bushes, on the expressway, on the narrow road, and all that. And they sell for very ridiculous price. Even when fuel was 185, they were selling at about 320, 300, 2 something. So, give us a projection in your mind right now. What price do you think this will come July?
Come August, end of July, come
Yes.
August, the Dangote refinery products come on stream, and we are looking at PMS, petrol motor spirit. My projection is that it's going to be very just and very fair. It's going to be very difficult to put a number now. I'll tell you why. The 185, let's put it at 190 per liter that we are selling.
Yes.
It's so arbitrary. It's not meeting cost of putting that petrol out there, plus corruption, plus inefficiencies, plus what has been smuggled out and what have you. And if you want to know what the appropriate price is, even before Dangote comes in, you need to go to Akura, you need to go to Kano, you need to go elsewhere, where we have tried to tinker by doing petroleum equalization here and there, and which in itself has resulted in the main to aid and abet smuggling. So the 190 you are talking about in the hinterland, perhaps you'll be thinking of 200, 250, depending on the distance, and that includes corruption. Now, so if the relative appropriate price, given our level of the logistics surrounding, including corruption that I've just mentioned, is 250 naira. My expectation is by the time you commingle that with what Dangote is going to bring, we might be lucky to be getting PMS to be sold equitably as much as possible in the hinterland for about 200 naira. So many things have put in there. The 50 naira that is now the current over the 200 will now be take away logistics, take away a few other logistics, but the other logistics of transporting from the free zone to all those places will have to come in. So, but it will not be as if you are looking at it as if that is now imported. You pay MPA charges, you pay the demurrage, you pay this, and you pay in that. I mentioned from the onset issues surrounding governance, control, and regulation.
Yeah.
With the PIA on, that will now be unravel itself, because the PIA has not unraveled, and yet we are still getting this at say 250 or 300, in the hinterland, and people have not, hit the dust, beating the dust. I say, with Dangote coming in August, we see a quantum drop to about 200. Don't forget, even in Lagos, when subsidy is removed, we are now going to go nearer the appropriate price as possible.
Okay.
It is going to be anything between the 190 and perhaps the better part of 200 naira per liter.
All right, so relatively we're going to get good price, not too far away from where we are, but not too close as well to where we are.
So our expectations
should be manageable.
Should be managed.
We should manage it,
and then we should have the patience that after August, going to the end of the year, I expect that things will be a little bit better, provided
that we are a serious group of people.
Provided the cost of food in the international market is not rising. If the cost of food is rising
in the international market,
oh yes, naturally
the cost of fuel will also rise.
Will naturally rise. What will be
even though it is now being produced in our backyard?
What will reduce is the logistics, the corruption, and the lack of transparency and accountability that we are currently experiencing.
All right, let's talk about Lagos. Lagosians. What does this mean for us as a people? More employment opportunities, like the governor said yesterday, more impacts on the youth, more development in the Lekki Free Trade Zone area. Housing is likely to increase, housing costs, rent inclusive, so you don't just think about landed properties and all of that. And there's going to be an influx of people generally to that access. So you're going to have more people moving to rent houses over there.
Nigeria's GDP, Nigeria's economy will naturally go in leaps and bounds. And please don't forget that we also have soft issues that we are promoting. We are promoting tourism. We are promoting Nollywood. We are promoting music. And if we get our acts together and put the security right, Nigeria is going to be a destination of choice
in the next couple of years. You know, it's quite amazing. I want to congratulate the president-elect, because he started this idea of the free trade zone. We'll have a picture of what that place looks like. It's a green picture. My director can just put it up. When I saw it, I'm like, really? The free trade zone, according to what I have here, is supposed to be an area, deep sea port of a depth about 16.5 meters. You have the deep sea port is ready, if I'm correct. It's ready. It was commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari in the last couple of, that was in January, yes, before the elections. You're looking at the Dangote port is also right there. You have the Dangote refinery, which is just offshoot. Then you have the free trade zone as well. And you have the Alaro city. And then you have Ekpe. And, it's quite close to Ogun State. Lekki is on one side, the water, the Tinkan Island ports, the Apapa port, all of them very close on the water. They're very close on the water, but on land they're quite far apart, but on water they're quite close. This for Lagos brings a quantum of developments that I cannot. In fact, I should congratulate the governor of Lagos State as well, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. I'm glad this is happening in his tenure. That this is coming to fruition during his tenure.
Congratulations is very, very appropriate. And I would say to my governor of Lagos State that as part of the bigger vision of the Greater Lagos, because the contiguity of the free trade zone to the Ekpe axis, I know Akinwumi Abode did quite a lot. We need to visit that area. I think we need to now kind of extend it. Down to the
Babajide Sanwo-Olu has also expanded the road a little bit.
And Babajide Sanwo-Olu is doing something in there. There are a few soft issues that needs to be taken care of in Lagos. Law and order, regulation of non-state actors, whether they are agberos or what have you, needs to be properly taken care of. My governor will naturally understand, if he's listening, the fact that we had more of a shake in the run-up to the elections. Lagos is a melting pot, and we have so many interests of, divergence that have converged on Lagos. We need strict, fair regulation. I also want to come on the back of what the governor has said, that it's virtually for all and for everybody, and ensuring that law and order is enhanced. Real estate investment, which is going to be enhanced. We are going to have more high rises. I want to see a situation where those buildings will not just start to collapse by making sure that the controls that he has already instituted are taken to actuality. Punish those who are not following the law, including officers of government. Let's know why, for instance, the lessons learned from building collapse here and there. And then my governor will not be oblivious.
Not only your governor, Mr. Fatungo.
My governor, your governor, our ebullient governor is also not oblivious of the fact that the elements are not smiling on Nigeria in Lagos. Now the rains are coming. You know, we have issues with the drainage.
With the drainages as well. The lagoon needs to be dredged.
It needs.
People may need to be punished for.
To be properly controlled, and the more reason why I am looking for Lagos to have a special status. Attempts were made at one point in time that Lagos is overburdened. Yeah, if you have a governance properly, you have a fairness, and we have normal attraction of law and order. Lagos needs help. It's not sounding selfish now. Lagos needs special help because the potpourri of everybody, of the cans and the humbugs that you find elsewhere that have not been taken care of elsewhere are all flooding to Lagos. And the kind of constitution that we are operating is such that you can't turn people back.
Truthfully, you cannot.
So that needs to take place. We need a bit of a wake up. We need to be able to grab this on our hand. I will not be able to say a lot of the things I want to say now.
You can do an open letter to the governor.
The synergy that now exists between Lagos State and Center is for the benefit of the whole country.
Everybody. All right, let's move on. This morning we have Olayinka Daniels joining us on the show this morning, and through Lagosian, we will tell him congratulations. Now he's going to tell you that it's our thing. Lagosian Olayinka Daniels, good morning.
Good morning.
So congratulations on your Lagos refinery. Did you hear me?
No, what am I saying?
I said congratulations on your Lagos refinery.
Thank you. It's our refinery, Nigerian refinery, not just Lagos.
So thank God you are not Nigerian.
Because we are accommodating people. We just want to see great Nigeria. So Lagos is playing a big role, but the refinery is actually for us.
Oh, okay.
Not just for Dangote, but for Nigeria.
So for Nigeria as well. Let's go straight to the tribunal of yesterday. It was said, in the last couple of weeks now, the Labour Party and you can reduce the volume on your side a little bit. Now, the Labour Party and myself would also say the People's Democratic Party requested for a live broadcast of the proceedings at the tribunal. You're a lawyer and you're familiar with what has happened or what is happening all over the world when it comes to tribunal. Of course, it's not a very common thing in developed democracies, but live broadcast of such, and it was thrown out. What are your views?
Well, there is a saying that when you are not informed, you'll be deformed.
Okay.
A lot of Nigerians are not informed, and they have allowed emotions and sentiment, to cloud their sense of reasoning. Why did I say that? You want to turn the court to crusade ground. You want to turn the court to a stadium. Now, when the Constitution made provision for public, because we all know that yes, court is a public place, and we all know that hearing in court is for everybody, except where maybe a juvenile or a minor is involved when the court move the matter to a chamber or they try to make it private. But in most cases, we know that yes, court is a place everybody can go to watch proceedings. The court will not bar people from watching proceedings. It said probably the place is crowded, and the court is just trying to manage, the situation.
The crowd.
That okay, they say do not allow people to come in again because it's crowded here. Having said all that, our legislation, does it give room? Is there a room for it under our legislation? The court has rules. The court has procedures.
Okay.
There are laws. We have, the laws, and we have the rules, and we have the guidelines. And the court has not said that hearing is not going to be made public. No. What the court has said is you cannot televise the proceedings. It is, we are not going to grant such prayers. We all know that even the one that have not been televised, the number of people are in court, and they pick whatever they want to pick, and they send it to social media without even knowing the fact, even knowing the mind of court, or knowing the meaning of what court, or they don't even know the judgment, what that the judgment entails. So they pick up and they sell the app to social media, and everybody go viral, and everybody is shouting about a particular judgment that they don't even know the rudiment of that judgment. Now you want to televise, then you want to distract the court from the, because even, for instance, assuming without considering,
yes,
assuming without considering that proceeding is televised, are you saying that when the judges then go to the inner chamber to decide and to write their opinion, are we saying the TV will be on them? No. So even if, okay, the world see being televised, and in the end they're going to write their judgment, they're not going to be there when they are writing their judgment. All that will happen, they will come back to the, they will come back to court and deliver their judgment. So now asking for, that from day one, some of us were against it, even before, when it was a rumor, before the applications was filed in court. We had said no. To because our system, we are not there yet. I'm not saying I'm not for it. Yes, I'm good if once you see, there are a number of things we want to do in Nigeria that we see happening in some other clients, and we want to also do such. And I ask, are we there yet? Can we manage it? So even in court,
do we do this for televising our judgments or our court proceedings? Do we do this for other cases? Peradventure, there are some precedents that we can, lay here.
In Nigeria, we've not, aside from the, if you remember, aside from the tribunal that happened during the Obasanjo regime, administration, because not a military government at that time, it was a civilian president. The former president Obasanjo, during his time, we had the tribunal, the Oputa panel, if you remember.
The Oputa panel, yes.
Yes, was live, was televised.
Okay.
That was that, because that was not election matter.
Okay.
Yes. It was an Oputa panel that was televised, and people saw that. Even at that, if you remember vividly, even that particular panel, people were still saying things that were not said at the panel. They went to manufacture their own. They submitted their own
summation about the whole process,
their own script, and they sold their script to the public. And you now have to find out the person that was actually in the box, that was a witness or that said something, will now come to deny what the media, is saying to the public, that they never said that, and that is not what they meant. You can see what that can cause.
Yes.
And we know that we are in a peculiar situation at the moment, and this particular case is a peculiar one. We know what it is in Nigeria today. We know people that are not even informed. We know people that want democracy to be truncated. We know people that are saying some president election will be sworn in because the matter is in court, when the law is clear as at 180 days to conclude this. And what is the window you have? You don't even have that window up to that. So the first thing you should do, ask for amendment of that law. So if we amend it, some of us are saying, yes, we are of the school that says, okay, whatever it is, after election, under 30 days before swearing in, let us conclude on this matter.
Yeah.
You know, yes, but as we speak, that is not the position of our law. We have a window of 180 days under our law. Okay, if let me do the devil's advocate, because a lot of people think it's about the court. For instance, the LP lawyers have informed the court that they need 7 weeks.
Yeah. No, the PDP lawyers. Are you sure the PDP lawyers? LP.
No.
Okay.
I mean, no, LP.
Okay.
LP. Labour Party.
Okay.
That in 7 weeks, I mean, to put up maybe their witnesses and
100%.
evidence and all that. And you are telling us you are ready, and yet some of your people are the one saying the president-elect should not be sworn in. That the matter. So, what are you saying in essence? We should breach the provision of the constitutions that give rooms for 180 days. The electoral acts that give such room, we should breach all those laws. And because of your own sentiment, because of your own emotions, then we should listen to you and say we should go this route. What do you call that? That is not democracy. What do you call that? That is not rule of law. And we are the same people that are asking for rule of law. So what do we really want? Because when we are talking and we are asking for some of these things, I think it is important
It
to
looks
be
as if
informed,
people
to
ask for
questions.
things. Are you saying they're doing it out of ignorance or out of intentional, out of being intentionally interested in manipulating the process and truncating the democracy?
Well, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to pick a particular word for that. You know why? Because I've heard a senior in this profession, you know, saying that they should not swear in a president-elect, and that they should take time, probably we should have interim, whatever, and all that. His senior had said that before he came back to revert what he said, to say no, I'm swearing it must be sacrosanct because that is the provision of the Constitution. So sometimes we just talk out of emotions, out of sentiment. We are not being objective. Just because we want our own thing doesn't mean we should not follow due process. The same way you say, okay, somebody has offended you, then you then take law into your own hands, you know, to get results. No, there are procedures, there are rules to follow. There are laws to follow. There's way you should go about it. If someone has offended you and you want judgment, you want justice, there's a place to go to.
Let me take you a little bit again to another issue at the presidential election petition court. Another one is this idea of the APM, the Labour Party, and the PDP, the People's Democratic Party, coming together to say they want to consolidate their petition. Now, not as individuals, not as individual parties, but as one, wanting to put everything together and present before the court. What are your views?
Well, before I go on legal, let me say this politically. You see, if you remember that Peter Obi,
yes,
Atiku,
yes,
Alhaji Atiku, and Kwakwaso,
yes,
they were in one party, which is
the People's Democratic Party. Yes.
Thank you. So 3 of them left. 2 out of the 3 left that party.
Yes.
And they formed their own party and they shared their votes.
Okay.
For the election.
Okay.
They all lost.
Okay.
Now, the same time, now you are in court. Before you came to court,
they were individuals.
You did not deem him fit to look at your case to say, okay, should we go together on this matter? You went to court on individual basis, the party basis, different parties went to court. Because don't forget that there were even more than 3 political parties.
Yes, there was the
AA. There's some that withdrew, and some are still there.
Yes.
Now, yes, maybe some of their prayers are the same. But what about some of the prayers that are not the same? That are different prayers. Okay, are you saying Obi and Atiku will consolidate? And Atiku is saying he should be declared president. Obi is saying he should be declared president. Look, they should not come and confuse the judiciary.
So, who exactly are they going to present as the winner of the election amongst the two of them?
So, what we are saying,
from the legal perspective,
the addition of, not just the addition of criminal justice, but you can consolidate even in civil cases and all that. There's room for consolidation in our legal system.
Okay.
But on this matter, because the APC is saying no. If you are coming, this is what you saw. You say you have so number of witnesses. This is your own evidence. This is what you are praying for. This is what you are asking for. This is what you think was wrong and all that. So why do you want to consolidate? Come out. Don't go under the veil. Don't cover and say, someone is the one doing the job while some people are pushing behind. No, come out. Let everybody go and test the water. For instance, LP is asking for 7 weeks. PDP is not asking for 7 weeks.
They said they need just 3 weeks.
APM is not asking for 7 weeks. So, why would you want to consolidate this particular matter? Because there have heard some arguments, some quarters that yes, to fast track the process so that it will take forever. It's going to be faster, to be easier. No, justice. You want justice, then take the time to get justice so that you don't come back to us to say it was wrongly adjudicated over. Why? Because you think some people did not do their job well. So nobody is going to be blaming another person. There's no need for consolidation in this matter. Already, the time we are talking about, there is nothing anybody can do between today and 29th of May. These people should be informed.
But then Peter Obi went on Twitter and was accusing the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, for calling the president-elect. He did say that it seems as if the U.S. has already taken sides in a matter that is already in court, simply because Anthony Blinken called Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu the president-elect to discuss some matters with him and make that public. Said he had spoken with the president-elect and all that. But Peter Obi went on Twitter and said that that shouldn't have been done because it seems as if the U.S. has already taken a side in this matter. What are your thoughts?
If I have to comment, I laughed when it's laughable, really. I do not see why people just apply sentiment and emotions to everything. Nigeria is a sovereign state. Nigeria had an election. By our law, somebody won. Somebody is elected. Now, we have countries that have relationship, not with an individual, but a relationship with the country. So now, these countries, they have extended their hands of fellowship to the country that, okay, you had election. Look, even if you push your sentiment to some of these countries to tell them that, yes, our election was not free and fair, our election there was this or that. Look, they do not know about our legal system. They do not know about our procedure until we furnish them
with the information.
On how we do things in the country. It's a sovereign state. So you don't even need, even while they were saying, somebody were US congratulated, I do not even need it. I do not need the accolade. I do not need the congratulating message from any country to determine the sovereignty of my country. So, having said that, nothing is wrong in anybody congratulating. I remember that when we had this election, and I congratulated the governor of Lagos State, Governor Sanwo-Olu, on this election. I know the banters I received from people. I know what
they attacked you on social media.
Different people said to me that
on
why
social
would
media?
I congratulate someone? Was the election free and fair? Was this happen? Will you call that election? I mean, they went on and on and on, and they said they expected more from me. That why will I congratulate? I laughed, and I had to take my time to maybe respond to some of them, and I bother not to respond to some of them because the law says, okay, we had election, there's an election, someone has been elected. If you have issues with it, we go to court. It's not street fight. So if you go to court tomorrow and the election, whatever the result is overturned, and the court says is Mr. Lagbaja, Mr. Tamedo, now is the governor, I will come back and say congratulate whoever that the court has said is the governor. Or is the president. So why are you being personal? Why do you take all these things personal emotion? You become yourself with emotions and sentiment, and nobody is even reasoning objectively. Because that is why I say a lot of us are not patriots. It's about me, myself, and I. Because my candidate did not win an election, it means that the election is crap. No.
But not all the election. The election where I won was okay. The one where I didn't win is not okay.
It's unfortunate because if you did not win the election, go to court.
If I go to the market as well,
go to the tribunal and get justice.
The one you're selling is not okay.
Present your evidence. Present your facts. So if the court sees all that and overturn it, well, good luck to you. So not you then sitting behind and throwing banters. America has congratulated president-elect. Why would Mr. Obi be angry? Or why will Atiku, why all of them be condemning making or Americans for congratulate or any state for that matter?
For having a diplomatic conversation.
President-elect.
For having a diplomatic conversation with the president-elect. Let me bring in Mr. Fatuke in here. Mr. Fatuke, this idea, you did talk about it briefly the other time, saying there will be a delegation from the United States at the inauguration ceremony, hopefully. And then it will be saying they shouldn't even, show up indirectly. It's basically saying they shouldn't have called him, they shouldn't have related with him. That phone call, that attending the inauguration, does it mean they are taking sides?
If you, like Daniel's sports take, is grown from legal, from common sense, and to emotional intelligence, and on all fronts.
Yes.
I must comment. I must say that I am in agreement with common sense. I do not believe, and this is me as a public affairs practitioner and an economist, I do not believe that we, when I say we, 18 political parties, 4 major ones, went into this election to compete. We did not go into this election to compete.
What did we then
do?
We
went into the election because we believed that we must go there and win.
At all costs.
Willy-nilly. Whether you have done your homework, whether you have
otherwise
applied emotional intelligence, whether as it happened, please pardon me if I have to interject this.
Yes.
As it happened in 1983, when the best candidate Nigeria could have produced, and they all knew was the best candidate in Awolowo, couldn't win the elections because of the geopolitical configuration of Nigeria, which slightly changed in 1993 during Abiola's time, and then went back to default mode. You know that? You say we practice democracy? Even when you bring free education, even to Southwest, I know the Ekiti people during the regional, never. Even when at the end of the day they benefited more, and produce more professors because they didn't see it at that time. So I said, we didn't go into this election competitively. We went and signed a peace accord just